of you for joining today. Excited because it's called Together Fund, and three of you who put this fund together are together right now. For founders, with founders, by founders. That's what your pitch deck as founders of the fund says. Tell us about this fund. What got you to start this? What is this? What's the vision behind this?
Okay, let me start by actually saying Together Fund is the brainchild of Manav. So he's the one who actually came up with the idea. And I think the whole concept came from all the learnings of Product Nation and SaaSBOOMi that we have been working for a longer time. So it's all about helping other startups. So, at SaaSBOOMi, we have a Pay It Forward conference where we thought, okay, that how do we help other founders not make the same mistakes that we have made and help the ecosystem. And as you also know, you see Avinash on the call, he is the reason why we all came together. Like Manav and I met because of the work Avinash did with iSPIRT and Product Nation and SaaSBOOMi. So when we thought, how do we really take this to the next level? Right? What do founders need? After working with founders, we thought, okay, we are giving them a lot of operational help, and we were personally investing in startups. We were trying to help them, but really we felt that entrepreneurs need time and they need operational help. They need operator help, right? So that is when the idea came. The evolution was to really put together a network of founders and entrepreneurs who can help the startups. It's not about the money. We will not, we are, in relative terms, we are a smaller fund than most of the other VCs out there. But we believe that it's not about money. It's not about the fund size. It's about really giving the entrepreneurs a chance. Funding gives them time, and the network of people, founders and operating executives actually gives them good advice from people who have been there, done that. So that is the idea. So how do we create this network of, so you can call it as India's first operator-led VC.
Yeah, I was about to say that. So it is and also I think one of the other important aspects is, since we are operator-led, we are trying to take everybody along. So it's not that we are going to position against a VC. So we don't compete into a deal. So when we say for founders, so if Shradha is getting a SaaS company tomorrow through YourStory, we're going to say we're going to side on your side. So if you want to bring in a VC who can help you raise capital, and you want help from us on building a SaaS company, we will be fine. If you want us alone, we will be fine. So for founders means we're going to sit on the side of the founder and think like a founder, that for you to build a great and a scalable company for future, what do you need? We will be always on your side. So that is the large emotion behind it. So therefore, we're taking the entire ecosystem together, be it founders who want to invest through time and money, be it VC funds who want to participate and take our help in whatever they want to get. So the idea is to take the entire tribe together. It takes a village to create a company, as they say, right?
How many entrepreneurs are backing? Is this you? Are there more people? And what percentage of the corpus is coming from entrepreneurs' money?
Structurally, what we have thought through is, again, I would go back to the philosophy of for founders. So founders need help from founders because they want to understand how to live the journey. What should we hire a salesperson first? Should I hire a product manager in the co-founding stage? How should the founding agreement be? And then we thought we need to get some really good executives who have been there, done that, have seen various situations. So network is comprising of founders and various executives who are from chief product officers, CROs, CMOs. And Shubham can add on how big the network is. He is very instrumental in building that network. That's the work he had done in his previous life as well.
How is it going to be different than funds who are so aggressively out there looking for the best deal?
It's funny and ironic that you are asking this question because we know you as a champion of startups. So I'm smiling because when you ask this question, what I'm hearing is when the world already has a Microsoft or an SAP or a Salesforce, who needs startups, right? That's the question you're asking. So I of course, again, that's on a lighter note, but again, we are not like how all startups coexist and work with and partner with Microsoft and Google and Amazon. And we will also work with them. Again, if you really look at it, many of these VCs are actually also in the Together ecosystem. So they have invested in Together because they want to help the ecosystem. That's the number one cause, right? That's bringing everybody together. And the other important thing is they truly believe that we can create a difference in the early stages of the startup by bringing startups to product market fit and helping them figure out the initial pivots or small adjustments that they need to their strategy, to their go-to-market, to their org structure, to really increase the chances of success, right? So today, if you like, that's what all VCs want, right? So they're investing in, say, 20 startups, 30 startups, like they want more wins. And the way we partner with all the top tier VC funds who are already in Together, as LPs who have committed money, is basically to increase the chances of startup product market fit.
What you're saying is that the ecosystem is together. You're putting everyone together.
I want to make a comment on that, Shradha. It's a very important point that you're bringing, right? So we are not looking at this as a traditional VC fund, right? See, and that brings us to what is the definition of success for us, right? See, and I'm not saying anybody is wrong. There are always different business models, and any VC fund, as you said, they want to be the first to find a unicorn or the first check into the company. In fact, internally, what we have talked about in Together is we don't want to fight for deals, right? Like we don't want to, because we believe that if the founder wins, that's a win. So in fact, the internal tagline for us is reputation over returns. Like, see, when you said, like when Manav and Girish say it, I can almost believe it because you guys, it seems true, right? So that is the internal question for us is, hey, we have built this reputation over the last decade, and what can be worth giving it away? So we will not do anything that will damage our reputation. So I think, which means if we truly want to be founder first, and we all know, like we are the founder community, right? We know how small the circle is. We know how people talk, how entrepreneurs go to other entrepreneurs to get advice. So we've been there, done that, right? So reputation over returns is the internal mantra for us. So and if the founder wins, if they get funded by any other, like an Axel or a Sequoia or a Matrix or any other firm, we are happy. We will say, okay, good luck. And if we can also be part of it, fine. If we can't, then we'll find, because our success is in finding the next 30, we call it Olympic champions, right? Basically, if Freshworks, I actually say I feel like an Indian athlete has got a chance to run in the Olympics. So I may win gold or not, but I want to run, right? So our whole mission for Together is, how do we find the next 25, 30, 35 Olympic champions in startups, right? So as long as that mission is accomplished, I think that's a win for the ecosystem. We will be happy.
The win would be if we see more entrepreneurs winning in this space.
Our DNA is paid forward, Shradha, right? So the amount of time that Girish and I have spent, including Avinash and sometimes Shubham also, with helping entrepreneurs weekend has been the DNA for last 5-7 years. So even if somebody calls today and he doesn't want money because he has the own money or from other VC, we will still help him. So anybody can call who wants help to brainstorm any aspect of building the company. We are always there.
How are you thinking about your time? How much time are you going to be putting in Together? Is it just going to be namesake and weekends? What is it going to be like? And how did your boards respond?
See, I think, Shradha, the first point I would like to make is when people look at it from the outside, it looks like, why is Girish doing so many things, right? Oh, there is Freshworks, there is Together Fund, there is SaaSBOOMi, there is FC Mega. But if you really look at what is the purpose behind all of this, right? So for me, my role as the CEO of Freshworks is putting me in the driver's seat to actually help influence India as a product nation. And Avinash knows this very, very well, that the dream that I got connected with Avinash on was product nation. So we all know what India needs. The IT services boom was a big win for India for the last 2 decades, right? But now that's slowing down, and we need product technology companies from India. So number one, my role as CEO of Freshworks gives me that pole position to kind of establish this and show how it's done. And I will also say one more thing. We never talk publicly about our revenue, right? But in 2018, we made an exception where we said, okay, Freshworks has reached $100 million in ARR. Why did we do that? It's not like we are not the kind of company that will go chest thumping and say, hey, we did 100 million. We wanted to do that because we wanted the investment community to know that, hey, it is possible to start a startup in India, a global SaaS product company, and actually scale it in a reasonable span of time to $100 million of revenue. Now that actually caught the attention for investors. We wanted, so I'm saying how at Freshworks, I look at my job as beyond Freshworks. How can I win in Freshworks? Through execution, but also influence India as a product nation. So that has been the connecting thread. That's exactly what we've been trying to do with SaaSBOOMi, where like if you know the first SaaSX or SaaSBOOMi that we did, we opened up our operational model. We shared all the numbers. We showed people. In fact, there is an IAMA video that I did on how to start a startup, where we talk about the India SaaS model. The whole objective there is, hey, we want the next Freshworks to come in probably 6-7 years instead of 10 years, right? So how can we help as an ecosystem? And US does this, Israel does this, so India needs this, right? So that is the same theme of SaaSBOOMi also, is how do we help India as a product nation? And Together Fund is a natural extension of that, where we want to really help the founders with not just money, but also operator help. That's the power of the network. So in my mind, all of this is connected. But I will tell you, it's like going and telling Dhoni or Sachin Tendulkar that, hey, you're making a lot of money in ads, go and act in ads, right? Or movies. So they have to keep playing cricket in order to do everything else, right? So I know that my primary responsibility is to keep winning in Freshworks so that people will listen to what I'm saying. And the moment that stops, I think everything. So Freshworks is priority number one. But the mission is about really finding and funding the next set of product companies and helping them grow. And both can be done because the time is now. The other point is, okay, I can wait till I finish Freshworks, maybe retire at 60 or 55 or whatever, and then start my giving back. There's no time. Like we are living in an age where we want to make the most of the opportunity, and the time is now. So how do we do both? So it's a tough choice. It's not easy. It's hard. All weekends are gone. But we have to do it for what we believe in, and it gives us immense happiness. So over to you, Manav.
And also what we have done is, so what happens is we are obviously missionary people. So we are driven by the mission of creating, Olympic teams, be it SaaS or be it, sometimes consumer software as well. But therefore what we did, we said, okay, let's put it on paper and bring also a product approach, because Girish and I are both think from product perspective also. So the key thing is to scale our time, right? So that's how we got 150 plus operators and founders in the network who are willing to commit time and money. But more important, without time, there is no money we are taking. So therefore, and we also realize that we may not have answer to every stage, every company possible in the world, in every single, from dev tools to vertical software to enterprise software to horizontal software. So we are actually creating a platform in the back end, and that's how Avinash comes in, who is the best person in India to build the community around entrepreneurs to scale that time. So time is not just us. We obviously giving all our weekends and early mornings, late nights, taking the time from family and many other places where we can squeeze. But more importantly, there is a structured way to scale that time across many entrepreneurs and be this one place, an ecosystem where people can contribute through time and can really help the entrepreneurs. So that is a real holy grail actually. We are actually going to scale the time.
When it comes to India, why this can be a game changer when it comes to the story of innovation, story of productization of businesses and startups from India?
Software consumption by businesses, right? Digital transformation of businesses has been democratized. Earlier, it used to be like US is the big market, and then you have Europe. Only there's a reason they were called developed markets. Then everybody else was developing markets, right? But really, if you look at it, today, every business everywhere in the world is digitally transforming. They want to use technology. But whereas business models are very Fortune 2000 centric, right? Most software companies build for like enterprise customers, because only then only those customers have enough money to spend, like say $200,000, $100,000 kind of thing. So democratizing software is what is the biggest opportunity for India, right? And we actually call it, we wrote a book on it in Freshworks called Indian Democratic Design, where software needs to be simple, it needs to be scalable, it needs to be self-reliant, it needs to be affordable, and it has to have craftsmanship, right? So all of this is Indian values also, we all know that. So how do we actually design this? Because the small business or the mid-sized business is not going to hire a big SI like a TCS or an Infosys to implement their system. They're not going to spend $1 million. They want something that's simple, something they can do it on their own, something that fits their budget, but it is still world-class product and it is very secure and scalable, right? So that is the opportunity for India SaaS, where we will be able to not just build great stuff, but also sell it to the long tail of global customers. So everybody sells to the big whales, right? Like, we get excited about selling to a Boeing or a Microsoft or a let's say Coca-Cola, but what about the not so fortunate 5 million? So the Fortune 500, too many people have software, but what about the not so fortunate 5 million, right? So that's how I see it. But that's not to say that we cannot win in enterprise. And Manav is an example of, I'm just answering from my anecdotal experience and not giving yarn. And Manav will probably say, even if you're building enterprise software from India, what is the opportunity to disrupt, right?
Yeah. So I think typically this is a secular trend. So I'm not calling it anymore a flash in the pan or a trend, where VC start investing, or suddenly hot, let me invest. I think there is a secular trend, like Girish said, democratization of software, adoption or digitization of every single workflow in SMB to enterprise. So I think opportunity is going to be far longer term, broad-based, and it's going to be across enterprise, SMB, and infrastructure. And given on top of it, now the virtual GTM is going to come into play with pandemic. I know it's not the best thing to say, but pandemic has shifted the game in favor of be anywhere and sell anywhere, right? So now you can run your virtual GTM. Previously, you can only do SMB virtually or on desk, right? But now enterprise sales motion also, you can do 80% maybe online and 20% local. So that's also going to shift the balance towards developer software sitting in Dehradun or wherever, and then try it out and see if large companies are also changing the behavior and adopting the software. So I think it's a far bigger and secular trend that we're looking at in the market. And I just want to also say that we are looking at 30 Olympic teams, as Girish also said, right? So we also going to invest part of the money into edtech and fintech, where SaaS is also overlapping, right? If you see a lot of India-based businesses like we have Dukaan and Khata Books of the world, who also are kind of a hybrid of local fintech and and SaaS. EdTech has also one part of platform thinking in the B2B marketplaces, which have a lot of enterprise flavor to it. So we are looking at a far bigger long-term opportunity, both India as well as global SaaS.
Like if you had to say that we will do maybe 2-3 things very, very passionately with the entrepreneurs, with the people that we work with, which we see in somewhat manner is not being done right now, what would you say? What gap with Together Fund fill or bridge, if I may ask?
I think I would put it very simply. I think experience is nothing but collection of mistakes, right? You always remember what you didn't do right. I think that's what entrepreneurs need. And Girish and I, having gone from seed stage and those days when capital was not as much available to now and to the scale, I think what we're doing is we're simply sharing our mistakes very honestly. Actually, that's what we're doing, and that's why we're encouraging other entrepreneurs and executives in this thing. Just share your mistakes, at least so when you are creating your company, you can scale faster. So therefore, the mission is to how you can reach 100 million in 5 years instead of 6 years, or even faster, right? Even 3 years, like other companies in the valley are trying to do that. So what we're doing is basically honestly sharing our learnings and mistakes in an environment where we can structure it.
Just to add one more thing, right? And see, Shubham said there is no shortage of money. I think right now the other way to say it is there is actually an oversupply of money, right? So see, in fact, that is where I think we do not look at ourselves as, oh, we have to compete for every deal. See, we are product guys, right? And there is something called product-led growth, right? Where you have customers coming inbound. So in fact, we want to see that should be our model for Together Fund also. Like, we don't want to go out and chase every founder and fund them as if there is no tomorrow, or pressure them with the term sheet saying sign by Saturday, otherwise the term sheet will expire. So we are not into that game at all, right? We want to, again, as I said, we want to help founders, and we are hoping that we can actually get inbound working, right? So I think, how do we get product-led growth for a VC fund, right? So that is our, if to answer your question on how are we thinking differently. So we want entrepreneurs to come and say, hey, these guys seem like good guys. I want to first go and see if I can get some money from Together, right? And also the other thing is, we are not looking at, okay, even though we are structured as a fund, because that's all the compliance requirements, and we want to make sure that we are doing things in the right way, but we are not looking at it as a fixed structure. Like, say, for example, most funds will say, oh, I want so much ownership, and per company, I have to put so much money. So when Freshworks was funded, the numbers were smaller. Like the first, we all have been through the ecosystem, right? So the rounds were 1.5 million for 20-25%. Now the rounds are 2.5-3 million for 20-25%. It's not because the companies need more money. It's because the funds have become bigger. As Shubham was saying, the number of partners who are there. So it's the fund dynamic that determines how much money that the founder needs, as well as how much ownership the founder has to give. So we want to do right amount of funding, like and it also, entrepreneurs need to be educated on this. Like, can you be less dilutive? Do you really need so much money and so much dilution in the first round? Can you take a lesser dilution and try it out and then make progress and then go? There are no right answers. And again, we are not saying this is right or wrong. And I'm saying this as, I would say, for Freshworks, right? Like, the enterprise sales model is not right or wrong. It's just that we figured out another model. So there are always many ways to do a certain thing. So we are looking at doing right by the founder. And that starts with everything, right? So everything that we do, can we do right by the founder? So while we still have a fund, which we will want to kind of find the winners, and we will definitely, we are hopeful that we'll be able to find smart entrepreneurs and help them and scale, and our fund will do fine.
As they say, the first million is the most expensive. So entrepreneurs will have to learn that. They learn it only later in their life and then say, oh, probably I should have taken the money later or balance it out.
But it would be very interesting to see you in the board meetings and how you both, or how all of you, behave and conduct yourself as investors. I think entrepreneurs would be very richer.
I think it's hard, Shradha. You need to understand that because we are operators, being a board member is, you need to know where to draw the line, right? For an early stage startup, they want guidance, but a board member has to give advice and then step back, right? Or give advice only if the entrepreneur asks for it, right? So actually, informally helping entrepreneurs is much easier than actually performing a board role. And because board role is, you should know your limits on when to cross the line, when not to cross. Early stage, maybe it's okay. Like Shekhar was on my board, and Shekhar and I were like almost on a weekly call, and that's a different kind of a stage. But I'm just saying, it's not easy for an operator to be a board member and change the roles.
If you had to say the win for us, if we had to describe, humne kiya, because I know all of you are also very strong individuals, entrepreneurs who have built strong businesses. Success of Together Fund kya hoga?
Yeah, so we have to really deliver superior returns for our investors, right? But we only believe that it can be done by doing it the right way, by helping and finding great companies and helping them succeed. So that is the belief.
So I think it is, the belief is good people can win and they can win gold medals. So what we like to see is top of the chart in Olympic games. So basically that's what we're looking for. So we want to create more scalable businesses who can exit at great value, not just unicorn in status, but building a great long-term value, so that, the return could be superior for investors, for entrepreneurs, and for us in the process, and the whole ecosystem grows. So that's what it is. So in nutshell, if we have 30 Olympic teams, we want to see 30 gold medals. Whether it's possible, not only time will tell, but we're going to try.
Just to add on to that, on a like that note, right? So see, we will never probably define success as say we want 3x, 5x, 10x return on the fund, right? Maybe that will happen, but that's an effect, right? But the way we think about it is, see, every entrepreneur, when they start, right, they are thinking, sitting there thinking, apna time aayega, right? So I think the win for us is if the entrepreneur says apna time aa gaya, right? So how many of that can we get? So that is the win, right? So if we can, and very simply, it only takes one or two apna time aa gaya to actually create a winner fund, right? So and the whole belief is we can actually do that. Like we again, and this is something that I'm starting to think, and there's a blog post that I'm planning to write is now the time is coming where entrepreneurship is almost going to become like a normal career option, right? Like, because if people have to believe that, oh, if this guy can do it, I can do it too. And with everybody has enough smarts. If you can build something that customers want, and if you can sell it, provide right service and sell it, find a way to get it in the hands of customers, the market is big. The only question is going to be how many of them are going to be like multi-billion-dollar companies versus how many of them maybe hundreds of millions of dollars versus some of them maybe tens of millions of dollars. But it's all great outcome, right? So, and I think that is going to be the change that is going to happen. Like how you become a product manager or a salesperson or a marketing person, being an entrepreneur will become a normal career option. That's the change we want.
एक गलती जो की अपने जर्नी में, which you will tell us that we shouldn't do.
So I think from my perspective, I think diluting too much early on. I think taking too much money early on. I think you realize the value of equity only in the later stages of life, because when company is big and you want to build it, you want to take your own decisions. So you want to make sure that you are the one along with the team who is really helping you to take those decisions. That's the biggest learning. So take your early money with a pinch of salt. Take enough money to build your business and get to the next stage, but don't overdo it, don't underdo it. So that's a science as an art. You only realize the value later on. Because right now, see, we all, I'll give you perspective. We all come from middle class backgrounds. None of us at least have seen $1 million in the bank. My parents have never seen, 4 crores or 3 crores back in the bank, right? So when somebody gives you $1 million check, you really start dancing, right? You don't know even how to react, right? You call your friend, parents, you are on the 7th moon heaven. But when you work hard over 5, 7, 10 years, and then you realize you've created something of value, then you want more of it, right? Then you want more of equity. Then $1 million is nothing. But you got to see who helped you. But that's the biggest learning. So be very frugal about how do you think about your equity and balance it out. You need money to build a business, yet you need to balance it out.
I think there are hundreds of lessons in which we constantly share. And I think I would actually tell younger startups that when they hire a team, like, do not throw away titles like the VP of sales or the president of the company and things like that very early on to like freshers, unless they are like, because your company's ability to scale is much faster than an individual's ability to scale. Of course, you want your early employees to be rewarded, recognized, and have enough growth, but you have to always think at least 3 years ahead. Like if you're a $0 startup, you have to think like, okay, I'm going to be 2 million to 5 million in the next 2-3 years, right? Or if you're a $2 to $5 million startup, you have to think, I'm going to be, if things work out well, I'm going to be 25 to 30, $40 million in pretty soon. So you need to hire, you need to constantly bring the right kind of people. So, and it's important to talk to employees, believe in them, trust them, but also tell them like that giving away your Lego blocks. It's a brilliant article on First Round Capital. So I think that is what most startups need. I think that is a great lesson for I've personally made that mistake probably 10 times before internalizing it, because even sometimes it happens without me being aware of what's happening. So a startup that is winning will go through all the growth pains. People have to understand, we should not look at it as the company as a cake where everybody wants their territory. Like, you have to understand this cake can go deep and wide. It can grow in both directions. So people have to constantly, they can have enough cake, but you can't control the surface area of the cake, right? So that's how I say it. So you have to be very careful and set expectations with people that they will have all the financial rewards. They will have all the growth, all the learning that they need. But what is right for the companies, you may have to bring more and more people, and the company has to accommodate them. The current team has to accommodate those new people and set them up for success. And that's how a company.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, and to Together Fund and to Together Winning as a country. Thank you. Thanks a lot.